I'm Ling Chang from the Toronto District School Board. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about boys' literacy and how homeschool relationship might impact on closing the gap between boys and girls in achievement in literacy. However, I'm going to step back and take a larger picture. First and foremost, I like to say when we talk about homeschool, we are also talking about home and community. And home it could mean a relationship with parents, with caregivers of children that is going to impact the success in school. The literature indicates that student success, academic success, is very much linked to student well-being. And under the umbrella of well-being, student well-being, it is very important that educational leaders make homeschool relationships, school community relationships a priority in their school improvement, and as we move forward on working towards greater success for all students. Educational leaders and teachers and school staff can play a critical role in developing the homeschool and school community relationships in three major areas: in teaching, in the area called homework, as well as in outreach and using community and families to support programs and work in the school. These three areas are very important because school does play a role in reducing the cultural gap between the home or the environment in which the child grows up in with that of the school. What do I mean by that? For example, in teaching, I think as staff, we have to be very mindful that our curriculum, the taught curriculum and the learned curriculum, do mirror the lives of children, and children's voices and student voices are in the teaching and learning experiences that they encounter each day. And not only just in the taught and learned curriculum, but also in terms of seeing themselves, a sense of belonging in school, which comes from the area of co-curriculum programs that are being offered in school. It is vital that the cultural gap in these areas are closed. The third area about homework is an interesting topic because homework is very much tied to social cultural beliefs of families and caregivers. To acknowledge that, help us in fact as staff to be very thoughtful about what homework and how homework, not only just the quantity but the quality and the type, could be narrowed between the homeschool gap as we provide homework to children of varying ages from the very early years to primary, to junior and to secondary, without relegating our responsibility as educators to be doing the direct instructional role for children and explicit teaching that is needed for them to succeed. That explicit teaching is not in fact given in the form of homework so that parents and caregivers land up with that role. In fact, homework should be given in such a manner that it helps parents and children in their relationship, as well as help parents and caregivers to have a deeper understanding of what school is about, of the child's learning and of the student's learning. So in the area of homework, I believe that we have a long way to go in being thoughtful on how we provide homework at grade 12, for the matter, or grade 7 or 8, or grade 3, or even in kindergarten. As to school, community and family relationship, I think we are beginning to do a lot of work in using community and families as a way of resourcing our work in the school, on having parent involvement, community agencies involvement in working in partnership with us, so that all these programs addresses student well-being, and in so doing, they are also addressing student success. These are the three areas I think educational leaders, teachers, school staff should give much more time and attention to as we develop what we call in effective school, that dimension of effective school called parent voices, student voices, and community participation in our school. To illustrate the point about teaching and how we can use in the area of teaching to address the home community school relationship and connections is, for example, poverty reduction. So often we think in terms of poverty reduction, in terms of nutrition programs, fundraising, outreach to children, but I think the critical area, as they say, you can give a child a fish, but it's better to teach them to fish. And what do I mean by that is really that if we need to address poverty reduction, we need to bring that conversation of what it means to be, what poverty means in our school, in our curriculum, and the impacts of poverty on not just individual children, on the larger extent. That in itself is an amazing topic for study and investigation for children. Take, for example, the Me to We program is about poverty reduction. It's about closing the gap. And in closing the gap, it's about closing the gap of literacy, whether the literacy affecting girls, the gap. In some countries, it's girls is not being educated. But in our case, our results are showing that our boys' literacy is not quite as high as we were aspiring to do. So if you pull back and say, let's look at poverty reduction, just studying poverty, where we define poverty as a lack of choices, and make that a big idea and a big topic for study in any grade, in whether it's a junior grade, whether it's a primary grade or a secondary school. It has large implications for not only children living in poverty, but all children in the class, to go into an inquiry about what we can do. It develops social justice, it addresses social justice issues, it develops citizenship, it develops critical and creative thinking, it enables children to be agents of change. That in itself, if we bring that into our teaching, children who are sitting in our schools, who are experiencing poverty, develop a sense of empowerment and a sense of belonging. And so this is a little example of how a topic could be used in our teaching, not only just to build inclusion and the value of diversity. It becomes actually a curriculum into which children, in pursuit of inquiry, can be developing critical thinking skills and becoming agents, or at least becoming educated on social justice issues.